What's going on, everybody? Welcome back to the channel. Today I'm reviewing Five Nights at Freddy's. A troubled security guard begins working at Freddy Fazbear's pizzeria. While spending his first night on the job, he realizes the late shift at Freddy's won't be so easy to make it through. This movie is directed by Emma Tammi. I'm not a Five Nights at Freddy's fan. I've seen people play some of the games, but I've never played them myself, and I know literally nothing about the lore. So I just went into this as a horror and Matthew Lillard fan, and I just wanted to have a fun time. And unfortunately, I did not have a very fun time with this movie. I was actually pretty bored and actively trying to stay awake. The movie has some cool ideas that I liked, but they're barely explored or explained. The plot lines that I liked and were interested in were put on the back burner in favor of stuff that I quite frankly couldn't have cared less about. The story just kind of meanders for most of the runtime, and then when it starts getting good, it ends. It was pretty frustrating because it treats these like just basic plot details as like big revelations. The pacing is just way off in this movie and it's kind of a slog to get through. It just almost feels like they didn't have enough plot for an hour-and-a-half movie, and if you don't have enough plot for an hour-and-a-half movie, then why are you making it? Because I was basically just sitting there the entire movie waiting for some information and for some important stuff to happen, and I just waited basically the whole movie because as soon as you get that, the movie's over. Roll credits. And as a horror movie, I think it completely fails. There's nothing even remotely scary or intense in the movie. And I know that the reason for that was that they wanted the movie to be accessible to younger audiences, kind of like a gateway horror movie, but it just personally left me with nothing. There's no memorable scenes or kills. It's just a bunch of jump scares, and then when people actually do start dying, they just cut away from the gore. Even though it was never going to happen, I do think that R rating would have really helped my overall enjoyment of the film, because I'm a heathen that loves fucked up bloody horror movies. I do think the animatronics look great. Thank God they chose to go with practical effects instead of CGI, but I think I could have used a little bit more of them in the movie too. They're the main attraction of the movie, and I feel like they're just not in it as much as I expected them to be or wanted them to be. And the main thing that I absolutely needed more of was Matthew Lillard. He's barely in the movie at all, but when he is on screen, that's when the movie is at its best. He maybe has like 5 minutes of screen time, which is just an absolute travesty. I don't know why you would cast someone as iconic to the horror genre as Matthew Lillard just to completely waste him for no reason. I was really disappointed. I did think Josh Hutcherson was good in the movie as well. Even though his character is kind of one note, I thought he did the best he could with what he had. But really, all the characters in the movie kind of come across as one note and flat, which made it even harder to get into the movie. I watched this in a pretty full theater that was packed with a bunch of Five Nights at Freddy's fans, and they were getting pretty into it. There was a lot of yelling and cheering and gasping, a lot of big reactions, and from what I heard after the movie, it seemed like everybody liked it. So I think if you're already a fan of the franchise, you're probably going to enjoy this movie for the most part. But if you're not a fan, I wouldn't walk into the theater expecting to be converted into one, which kind of sucks. Like, it's cool that they made a movie that seems to have satisfied their core fan base. Like, that's great for them. But for the people that are like me and knew nothing about the franchise, you kind of feel like you're on the outside looking in the entire time, and that just wasn't a great experience. Overall, Five Nights at Freddy's was a horrorless horror movie that fell flat with a misguided story. Five Nights at Freddy's is clocking in at a 45% on the Bravo barometer. I really wanted to like this movie and understand the hype behind it, but I just couldn't get into it. But those are just my opinions. Let me know what you thought of the movie and my review in the comments below. Don't forget to drop a like on the video and subscribe for more reviews and streams coming very soon. And as always, I appreciate you for watching. I hope you have a great rest of your day, and I'll catch you in the next one. Peace out, everybody.